Hello, ladies. Today's conversation about saying yes to your heart's desire. So I'm Dr. Kelly Martin Shue, Amazon best-selling author, speaker, and transformational coach for women. And I'm so excited. Today we're going to talk about a unique technique, a sacred technique that I used years ago in helping me discover truly what my heart's desire is. And it works every single time. It's timeless. And so I want to share that with you today. If you're in that place of not even knowing what you want in love, not knowing and feeling confused and feeling overwhelmed, we're going to share this secret, sacred heart's desire technique. I also want to teach you today how to say no. So many of you have forgotten or never learned how to say no. You're pleasers, and you'll say yes, 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 and then you lose track of your sacred yes, and you have forgotten how to say no. And then we're going to talk about how you can turn your shoulds, should, as you should, all over yourself in partnership and dating, and turn that into a could. So you reclaim your feminine power in love, in dating, and partnership. So let's talk about this. And by the way, I apologize. There is some background noise. We've got neighbors who are creating a new patio. So I apologize for the audio on this. So let's talk about dating and partnership. I specialize in working with women, single, successful women, and they might be really successful in their careers and maybe even successful in family life and friendships, but they've lost hope in their love life. And maybe they're dating, and if they are dating, they feel overwhelmed. They feel like that man is never going to show up. And they feel like they don't have enough time because these are successful women, right? And so they fill up all of the time with other people's needs, other people's desires. And I find these ladies in a place where they don't even know what their heart's true desire is anymore. I was working with a woman yesterday, coaching her, and she says, Dr. Kelly, I don't even know what I really want anymore. And we were able to unravel through this technique that I'm getting ready to teach you. She says, I don't even know if I want to date, right? And in her mind, what that meant is if I'm dating, first of all, I don't have enough time. And if I did create the time, then what if he doesn't like me? What if he doesn't like the way I look? Or what if I do fall in love? Oh my gosh, what if I fell in love and then he drops me? These are real fears for so many women. So many of you women are turning the volume down to the passion of your heart because your heart has been broken. Maybe you're recently divorced, or maybe you're divorced and you've never gotten over that. And so anyway, this conversation is for you. So this is a technique that I learned many years ago with my coach, and she was very much a heart-centered coach, and she started work with me. I had my wellness-based business. I was feeling successful in career. I had done all the right things, and I was a good girl. But this dating thing, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't seem to get it right. So she would have me on the coaching call. She would say, Dr. Kelly, put your hands on your heart. So wherever you are right now, hello, Andrea. I'm going to have you put your hands on your heart. And I'm going to close my eyes as we go through this process together. But before we do that, I want to have you think about an area. I love to focus on your love life because that's what my specialty is, working with women. And think about where you're confused. Think about where you're overwhelmed, right? You've lost your way, okay? And we're going to put your hands on your heart, and I'm going to ask you some questions. So first, hands on heart, tuning in, closing your eyes, ignoring the loud sound of the saws in the background, taking a moment to breathe, allowing your heart to be the servant, or allowing your mind to be the servant to your heart. Really dive into your heart and just feel your heartbeat underneath your hands. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. And feel your feelings, whatever they are welcome here. And then I want you to bring up a file. And that file says your love life on it. Bring that file up in your mind. And I want you to think about what's going on in your love life. You know, what are you troubled by? Where are you challenged? And I'd like you to come up with a yes or no question. A yes or a question. A yes or no question could be, should I start dating? A yes or no question could be, is he the one? A yes or no question could be, is he worthy of a second date? So come up with a yes or no question in your mind as you're connecting into that beautiful heart space of yours. And go ahead and ask your question in your mind's eye. Ask your question. And then I want you to notice what's going on in your heart in this moment. As you ask your question, does your heart feel like it opens up? Does it feel more expansive? Maybe it feels warm. If that is the case, the answer to your question is yes. Tune in, feel your feelings. Maybe that's not what you're feeling. Maybe when you ask your question, the heart is kind of flat. There's not much going on energetically. It's kind of flat. And if that is what your heart is doing, you're more neutral about whatever it is that you ask. And then finally, when you ask your question, if you notice your heart contracting, maybe it feels tight, maybe it feels wobbly. If that is what you are experiencing in your heart space, then the answer to your question is no. So just go ahead and do this experiment right here with me. Your yes feels like expansion. Sometimes the heart beats a little, it quivers a little bit in the yes, because there can be some fear with the yes. Neutral is flatline. And an energetic no feels tight, feels restricted, or feels heavy. And now you have what I call a beautiful sacred heart test to test whatever is been on your mind around love and partnership. So that is how you discover the sacred yes. It's that yes that amongst all of the chaos of the world and all the stories that you've created around your life, around your love life, and maybe you've been through a lot, but that's not happening in this moment as you listen to this Transformational Tuesday technique, the Sacred Heart Test. So I will tell you, I've used this Sacred Heart, my Sacred Yes technique for things beyond my love life. You know, you can use it in business. You can use it with questions you might have about what to do with your children, about maybe a challenge you're having with your partner. This is how you get to your sacred yes. And you want to make sure if you can do it in an environment where you can be with yourself. We did it kind of fast. Thank you for the hearts. I love it. I love thumbs up and I love hearts. So thank you. So anyway, that is how I come to my sacred yes. And sometimes I'll start with a meditation first, but that's a quick way to really cut through to your sacred yes. The second thing I want to talk about today is how to say no. You know, as women, we're often such pleasers. We are so willing to do for others and say yes and yes and yes. And at the end of the day, there is nothing left within us. And so part of dating from your feminine power is learning to say no. I'll give you a great example. I was coaching someone last night, and she lives in a big city, and she is out there dating. Before I started working with her, she was incredibly hopeless. She had given up. And this is a young girl. I think she's young, meaning early 30s. I consider that still young, right? But she's at a point in her life where she's ready to find her forever mate, her man. And so we've gotten to a point where she's learning healthy boundaries. And so the first date went really well. And the second date went pretty well. But there's been this challenge, and she's been thinking and thinking and thinking about it. Here's the deal. She's a city girl. And on the first date, you know, the guy lives in the burbs. And he's not used to coming into the city. He is not a city guy. You know, he loves being out in the burbs. And here's what she realized. Is she realized that in these two dates, even though they were great dates, that she really wants to date somebody in her city. They lived an hour apart. And this man loves being outside of the city, you know, and all of what that brings. And so what I was hearing as I was coaching her is she was saying, you know, our distance just isn't working. But in reality, what I was also hearing, it wasn't just about the distance. It's about two different lifestyles. City life, suburban life. Two very different lifestyles. And both the guy and the girl were clear that they didn't want the other. And yet, friends and family and all these people were telling her, oh, but he sounds like such a great guy, like such a great catch. And what we're able to do is bring her back into alignment through that sacred heart test. And what we came to find out is that she, the pleaser, wanted to please her friends and all of, I call it the peanut gallery. Everyone will always have an opinion of what you should do. And yet your heart knows the truth. It truly never lies. If you can get more in touch with that sacred heart, you will know the truth. And so what we taught her in that session is that what she needed to do next was honor her sacred heart. When we got to it, was this clarity, such clarity, is that they were a mismatch. When she was able to let go of the shoulds, of what everyone else told her she should do, and she just quieted the mind and came into that heart space of hers, she knew exactly what to do. She didn't need me to tell her my opinion either. All I did was brought to light and repeat back to her. It's called mirroring. Back to her what I was hearing her say. And through this journey, she really realized she knows exactly what she needs to do. It was a no. He wasn't in alignment with her. She wanted a man who was a city guy. Brilliant. Ladies, you don't need to sacrifice and compromise on the things that are really important to you. Stop shoulding on yourself. And what I love to do is take the should to a could. So whenever you find yourself saying, oh, I should do this, I should do this, who's saying the shoulds? It might be you, but it also could be your mom, your dad, your best friend, your colleague of telling you what you should do for dating. Believe me, everyone has an opinion. But when we can take those suggestions, I'm not saying not to ask for advice. You can collect, as women, we gather, and we gather. And I know for me personally, I do process very well through communication and just talking things out. Often I don't even need necessarily feedback. I just need to connect and get out what I need to get out, right? But I'm also always open to suggestions. But be mindful of when you're taking a suggestion and making it a should on yourself. If you can just take that one word, should, and replace it with could, do you know in that moment you have reconnected to your feminine power? You go from being a victim to whatever's going on, the shoulds, the should, very disempowering, to could. Could is a place of true potential and true possibility. You've just stepped into the realm of possibilities, which is where, lean in, dreams come true. Should I say it again? Switch out your shoulds with coulds, because you have the power through coulds, and dreams come true. You can have that love that you've always desired. Turn the volume up on your dreams. Turn into your sacred heart. I encourage you to do it daily. It doesn't take much time. Find out what your true yeses are and find out what your true no's are. And then have the courage to say no. No, that's not going to work for me. No, I really think you are a great guy, but I don't really desire to take this any further. No, I actually have that time scheduled for my workouts. That's not a good time for me to go on a date, right? Healthy boundaries early on in relationships are so important. It requires some no's so we can let go of the pleasers in us as women, and we can honor what's true. We can start leading our lives from that beautiful heart space. So I invite you to share in the comments below your victories or what really stood out in the conversation today. Have you tried your sacred yes technique, the sacred heart technique? Have you replaced some shoulds with some coulds? How did it turn out? Or did you say no, maybe for the first time, to someone who you've been saying yes to when it truly didn't honor your truth? So I'm Dr. Kelly Martin Shue, Amazon best-selling author, speaker, and transformational coach for women. And if you like what we share today, be sure to comment, like, heart it, and share it with your nearest, dearest girlfriends that need to learn to live from their sacred hearts. Please share this so that they too can honor their truth. Signing off till next Tuesday, Dr. Kelly Martin Shue.